Starts out with him getting stuck on one word and looking very blank for about a whole minute with no words said. And then fast forward to 3 days later, where he gets stuck on another word but completes what he's going to say. And then fast forward to the speech where everybody's basically telling him to go ahead and hang it up. Hopefully, they maybe, which we've seen a trend with these neocon rhinos, they continue to push them off the stage.
And yet Dianne Feinstein continues to show up to work.
She signed power of attorney over to her daughter, I believe, yesterday or the day before.
I thought that was
Yeah.
Pelosi.
No.
No, it was Feinstein.
Pelosi's daughter is friends with the guy who started the Proud Boys. She's a different story.
So, I mean, how do we get rid of these people?
Well, currently, James R. Man, that Joker is on it. He said the House of Representatives would cut their funding, right? So we got Chip Roy out there saying we're going to cut their we're going to put them down to zero. So at this point, that's the only tangible way at this moment to just stop some of the new world order. You know what I mean? The shit that's happening in our country, it doesn't make any sense. Because we were literally, listen to this. This is my personal opinion. I think we are under a supervisor and manager system right now. You know, you can go up to your manager, or actually your supervisor, and tell him, "Hey, this is what I feel." And like, oh yeah, okay, get back to work. You know, you open door policy, go to your manager, and he's like, "Did you talk to your supervisor?" I'm telling you, it just, it, and I mean, everybody's still on that process that you can get all the emails to everybody and email everyone and get some responses back. But is it lip service? You know, hey, I don't believe in this. This shouldn't be happening. You know, it's 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 uh it's definitely uh our republic is a democracy now. So that's my
Hey,
perspective.
What does
hey, Bishop.
democracy mean?
When I say democracy, I'm saying it's one sided.
Bishop, I'll say this. You want to fight the New World Order, and I realize I'm guilty when I say this. We need to shut off our Amazon accounts, right? The way we feed the New World Order feeds off of us, right? I know, Cap. I'm very sorry because notice I had that thought earlier. Like, imagine if you told everybody go tell someone today, like, I'm taking away your Amazon account. You'd see adults turn into 9-year-olds and like kick and scream and throw themselves at the ground because they don't get 2-day delivery. And that's what feeds the New World Order, right? Is next day delivery.
I don't even have an Amazon account, so he. Double O said.
Yeah, my opinion, um, the FBI basically are policemen for the CIA. The CIA is over everything, and the CIA don't need any government funding. They can fund themselves surely of all their crap that goes on all the time throughout the world. And I'm still wondering what happened to Canada's gold a few months ago. Did anybody hear anything on what happened to the plane load of gold? I wonder, you know. I'm just saying they don't care about funding. They'll get their funding, and they already got probably a bank account bigger than anything that you can imagine. So anyway, later.
Morning, Olive. How's it going?
Good, thank you. So I'm even contemplating if I should message you first before I bring it up. Um, because it's gonna cause some blood boiling in here, and I don't mean to be like that, but I just can't get over yesterday in these two spaces. I mean, stop the madness, okay? If we, the Republican Party's already weak. Okay, we don't need Laura Loomer in this Bill Mitchell fighting and being stupid. We really don't. It's not helping. If I believed in a two-party system, I would be so furious. But I mean, and we all know that I don't. We all know that they're all crooks, in my opinion, and they're just all in it together. But if I did believe in the two-party system and I did believe in voting, I would be furious that these people weren't working together. I mean, come on, let's get a grip. Why are they fighting?
Because they're morons, Olive. Don't listen to them.
Right? I mean,
No, we'll exclude Laura Loomer from that. Bill Mitchell's the one that makes absolutely no sense.
but I don't think Laura Loomer does either. I'm sorry, but I don't get it. I mean, she posted, I reposted it because some girl posted it. Let me see when this was. It was in, let's see. Uh, it is 8523. She's saying that she's so happy she didn't get vaccinated and how people should do research for themselves. Okay, some people rely on the TV for information, unfortunately, you know, and so when we have political leaders like Trump, for an example, or the commercials, the big pharma, I mean, you could go into Walgreens and they're like, yeah, it's safe and effective, but you can't see the label, shit like that isn't helping. Okay. So don't you think that's hypocritical for her to be all out for Trump, but saying that she's so glad that she didn't get vaccinated? I'm sorry, I can't get over this part. I'm just like, every day it gets worse for me with this, and I can't understand it. I don't get it.
Well, to our good friend Tap in here, I will say I've gotten more and more closer to this concept that both parties and pretty much the system in general is a fucking joke and needs to be redone.
Right. And like, the other day when we were talking about this, and the question was, well, who do you want to run the country? Yeah, right. I mean, there is no candidate that, I mean, if people think that Kennedy, just because he's talking, against the vaccine, he couldn't even get his family not to take the vaccine. Okay. And I don't think he is like a special kind of dude at all. I think that we are given garbage. We aren't given anybody for the people. And it's very unfortunate. And I wanted to go back to Samuel real quick because he had made the comment that, like the next day delivery. I don't know if he was being sarcastic, but that's like feeding the New World Order. Everything is feeding the New World Order. Literally every little thing. It is so deep. Vanguard and BlackRock, it's done. It's already, New World Order is already here. And they will pick and,
Olive, real quick,
yeah.
Olive, because you name checked me, I know something that's not feeding the New World Order, and it's Kevin's garden, right? Like it's a wonder of human effort, and it feeds his family. And the New World Order can't tax him, and they can't come like take his cucumbers. I'd love to see the cucumber war of Connecticut happen, right? But Kevin's backyard doesn't feed the New World Order, and it's not 2 day delivery, right? It's 5 month delivery or 8 month delivery, right? Or I hope to God I can make a salad at one time this season, and he's an expert. But that's what we should point to instead of everything, because that's hyperbole, and you know it, right? Like when you start saying everything, because Kevin's backyard, there he is with his hand up, I'll shut up, does not feed the New World Order.
I was just going to say real quick that when she was talking about the two spaces yesterday, I thought she was talking about your space, Samuel, this, that, and whatever with Donald. And I thought she was talking about the other space where 5,000 people gathered and said nothing for about 20 minutes. And then we had a fake Elon and a fake Trump talking to each other. And I just turned my volume down and went to sleep. But yes, grow your own food. Garden spaces, awesome.
I will make a suggestion when it comes to Amazon. Always go directly to the actual manufacturer's website, because there are many times where Amazon will see you order something once or twice and they raise the price on you. It's very sneaky. If you went in on somebody else's account, you wouldn't have the same price. And a lot of times, if you go to the manufacturer directly, you might get a better price. So I'm just putting that out there because I like supporting the actual manufacturers of things rather than the conglomerates that sell them and get more money. Sorry, Tap, for getting in front of you.
Morning, Tap.
Good morning, Punchbowl. Triforce Tony. So glad to see you back, man. Welcome back from from work or whatever, and glad to see you in here today. And I want y'all to remain to be optimistic about the United States. Don't become too much like me, or else we won't be salvageable. We got to keep some. Yeah, I feel really good today. It's Monday. I'm looking forward to getting some work done. I just wanted to check in. I'm really stoked today because there's two things that happened over the weekend personally. So I'm going to use this to plug my stuff and then I'll shut up. One, if you go to the punchbowl.space, anyone that's been following us basically since March knows that we had a website. I've been working on a new theme and I updated the entire thing with the help of the team getting the inputs on how it should look. And the punchbowl.space is updated. It should look completely different compared to last week. And that's something we'll continue to build on. It's a beautiful site. The other thing is, a lot of y'all know that I've been building some applications behind the scenes that support not only Punchbowl, but some broader initiatives I'm doing. Now, for the longest time that I've wanted to basically show people some videos of like how I do stuff behind the scenes. So here comes the grifting. I did start a locals account because the subscriptions thing, it's been like 90 days, no response. I don't think that's happening. So if you look at my profile, there is a locals link. I'll be putting out multiple videos and write-ups each week on there for tech, for woodworking. It may even just be political rants. And there's three ways of supporting me on there. One, if you just create an account and sign up there, you don't have to pay any money, and I'll be putting out some posts that won't be for the people that are paying, because I still think a lot of that information everyone needs to see. I'll be going live for video streams on there to actually share my screen and teach people like by the numbers from the start. And then also there's two other ways. There's two paid tiers for monthly subscriptions, just like Patreon. One is $5 a month. The other is $10. I don't even care about the optics of grifting at this point. I do a lot of good work. I build stuff. If you're interested in learning along the way, please consider supporting. If you don't have the money, that's no problem. Basically, I'm just trying to recoup some of the API costs, and I'm just having fun along the way, trying to do some teaching. And here's the other thing. Hopefully, I won't plug it too damn much. All right, so locals.com, tap for nerds on there if you wouldn't mind sharing it. That's what I was trying to get to. This is what I get for not having enough coffee before I come up here on mic. If you don't want to support it, I completely understand. That stuff seems like grifting or whatever. But if you're willing to, please basically spread it out there. And the other thing is, of course, I'll be putting some stuff on Discord that people can see. So if you're on Discord, you're still going to get access to the exclusive content. I've got some stuff out of the way now, so I'll be able to do pop-up sessions on Discord where I share my screen, and basically we do a space, but you're watching my screen and I kind of show you what I'm doing, and you can actually ask questions live as I code and see the results. So just a heads up, that's coming out of the way now that I got a bunch of stuff off my plate. I'm excited about it. Tapfornerdgrifting.com. So Tap for Nerd Locals, and the website has been updated. And if you like the new website, let me know if you like it, because I like my ego. All right, thanks, Punchbowl.
Well, Al was asking about you this morning, so you might want to give him a shout out down there, Tap. He was worried about you.
Shout out to Al Pacone down there. Thank you so much, my buddy. And I'm still waiting on my red shirt to arrive this week, hopefully in time for Friday. Also, shout out to Carolina. I really appreciate it yesterday. She was co-hosting, and she threw me a mic. There's like 5,000 people in the room or whatever, or 1,500. I forget how many. It was a lot. It's more than any space that I ever go into. And like I was up there for a bit on stage, and I was like, I started wait. I normally have no problem saying something. You all know me, and I'm sitting there. I'm like, man, I didn't say shit. I didn't say anything. I froze. But I do appreciate it, Carolina.
Dude, that's what I love about Carolina. Carolina will get into like these massive spaces and throw your mic, but then jump into a very small, like very close knit space and just the same person. Gotta love it, man.
Tap, real quick, like for people who have no idea what you do, like I kind of feel like you're Chandler to me. I don't know what you really do at work. Could you describe that? So in case I'm in a space, like I could share you, and be like, hey, I know this guy. Like, who, who should I direct your way?
Uh, Basically, anyone that's looking to use the computer to do repetitive tasks for them in their personal or work life. And to your point, I realize I don't have a good elevator pitch for that, so I'll work on that today. Because I know what I do, but I'm probably using jargon and all that. And so it's a good point, Jen. Let me work on that. I don't know off the top of my head, but I appreciate it because now I can workshop that.
Alrighty, cool. And I will ask people if they get carpal tunnel with the things that they have to do on their computer, and if so, tap for nerd is your guy.
There you go.
Are you going to be going over like coding, programming, and like prompting Chat GPT, stuff like that?
Oh yeah. Like one of the series I'll be doing here in September is I'll just be going through. I'll buy a new domain, and you'll get to see me build a website live, like using ChatGPT to upload the files to the server, seeing how to modify it, seeing like not only the HTML but a little bit of JavaScript, not only how to display stuff on a website statically, like but also be able to interact with a website so that if like you have a contact form and you put in an email, not only does something actually happen when you click the button, but that email and its contents actually gets sent off and someone receives it. The other thing that I do, like for work, that I've been doing for years is first I was satellite communications and RF communications overall. So I basically made sure that warfighters could talk to each other. So I did wireless comms. I've done just about everything in telecommunications at a general level. I've had a unique career. So basically, my whole thing will be bringing that, and then I also love teaching, so it'll literally be by the numbers. Like this is programming. This is the very start of it. And like even with the NFL season coming up, one of the lesson plans I have is just showing people how to use Python, which is free programming language that anyone can put on Windows or Mac, how to use that with NFL and Yahoo Sports to actually pull information about like their fantasy football and stuff. So like there's going to be practical like real world examples that aren't going to be like let's make a spreadsheet for work. No. We want to look at how do we use code to help us out on Twitter? How do we use code to help us in our personal lives? How do we use code to get information from news sites quicker so we can make better arguments against liberals? That sort of stuff. That's kind of what I'm going for. I want to teach people the skill set they can run with. I don't need everyone to be a coder, but if they start to get the simple ideas of automation and see that the barriers are removed and it is available to them, I think that'll be empowering for many people here. And I think at scale, those sort of actions do matter in the election because part of the problem that we have when it comes to the right is collecting information, verifying that it's accurate, and then distributing quick enough to counter um, the other narrative. But it's not all the Tap for Nerd show, so I'm going to pivot back. Thank you so much, team. Sorry for stealing it.
No, I think you just clearly defined what Jen was asking, and all we needed to do was prompt you the correct way, like Tap GPT. All right, KM, you're up, buddy.
Good morning, Punchbowl. It's 66 degrees, raining all weekend, but I do have my Folgers, so I'm warm enough. I just wanted to make sure that the life lesson that Samuel threw out there didn't go over everybody's head. And if anybody else pulled out that how close him and Aaron really are, your backyard. This federal government has been crap my entire life, and something TAP could help me with maybe is keeping all the political information I've got in my head at my fingertips so I can remember it. George W. Bush, he wasn't perfect, but 23 times, I know the number 23 times because I counted it, 23 times he tried to get Congress to stop the crash of '08. And Barney Frank and Maxine Waters wouldn't have it. They didn't change their direction until they went home that summer and their constituents gave them what for. Your backyard. Start working on your backyard. Stop worrying about the federal government. They're not there to help you. They're there to help them. They don't work for us. They haven't worked for us your entire life. They give you little crumbs to keep you happy every now and then, but their goal is to get as big as they can to control, and the goal is the one world order. It's coming, step by step, inch by inch. Slowly they turn and grab you by the throat. So I'm in a gloomy day because it's raining. So yeah, I'm in that kind of mood. Have a good one.
Anyone have that country song stuck in their head now? The female singer. That's the kind of mood I'm in. Anyways, KM, I don't know if your ears were burning, but I was talking to you yesterday on the highway. I just sent you a video on DM. You don't have to watch it, but basically I'm bitching about a truck that cut me off and how I want you to like drive down here and talk some sense into him.
I would do it. Believe me. The roads are going to get dangerous. You have to go to school now to be a truck driver to get your license. That's the new rule. You have to go to a college accredited driving school, and they're no good. You need that smack upside the head when you screw up so you don't do it again.
Okay, and so I gotta know before I lay down and take a nap because it's just driving me crazy. Okay, so Bill has this stupid space, and I'm not supportive of any of these people. Okay, so I got no game in it at all right, I'm just like watching it, and trying to be open minded about the whole thing. And so I spent some time in Bill Mitchell's space, and then I went into Laura's space, for a little while, and then I just went on with my life. But so and then okay, so Bill has this, space, and he tags Laura into it. All right, Laura's down listening, to him talking, crap, this and that, back and forth. But apparently wouldn't give her the mic, which I don't know how anyone knows that for sure. So then she starts her own space saying that, and accuses him of being this QAnon person. And the QAnon people are praising Laura for having the most successful QAnon space on Twitter Spaces. So my question is who is the QAnon person? And I mean, I don't get it. Where are we? What's going on here?
Well, Bill Mitchell is a personality. Laura Loomer's a person. Learn to tell the difference between personalities that are just going out there to gather a following to make money and somebody that's actually trying to do something.
Well, I see her saying that the vaccine, she's glad that she didn't take the vaccine, and people should do their own research, but we know that many people are not doing their own research and have taken it. Here in Wisconsin, as a matter of fact, I just had tweeted out not too long ago that when COVID, was happening, and they had in the cream puff. In cream puff, if you got a vaccine, you got a free cream puff, and people were lining up. Okay.
Olive, like
I,
that wasn't
If
obvious,
you,
right? Olive, hang on real quick because you asked a question. I want to ask it before you get too deep in the
I'm
weeds
just
here.
saying that people were
Mike, I'm
dumb.
going to ask a question. Hang on. Yeah, I know. Well, it happens. And notice, like, if you pay too close of attention to, I think KM makes the best point. Anyone who makes their living or becomes wealthy from relaying political news, I'm skeptical of them. I'm massively skeptical of them. In fact, if you're someone who wants to make your living relaying information and you're not poor and proud of being poor, I'm skeptical of you. And so you just have to take them with a grain of salt. You know, I haven't seen the post you're talking about, but the last time I saw a Laura Loomer post, she was mad because Casey DeSantis wore the wrong color to somebody else's wedding. And I feel like that's where we're at with sort of political information. So just that there's a grain of salt for you. Like I don't Bill Mitchell, like
She's
I
talking
don't
about
why
a
would we listen to him?
Samuel. She's talking about a post that a lady will put up where she had no choice to take that shot. And I'm sorry, you did have a choice. I don't care if you was in the military. I don't care if you had a job. You had a choice. It's your body. You did not have to take that shot. I didn't listen to a single word Trump said about this shot because I wasn't interested. I didn't need it. I knew I didn't need it because I did my own research. The people that don't do their own research and they go to the talking heads to get their facts, they need to wake up and realize that people are trying to control you. They're trying to lead you down a path that they want you on.
Well, I
I
think
don't go on the spaces and the weekends because I take the weekends to do my own research so that I can think for myself and not get into this group think. I post the information on Twitter that I find. Do I get any views? No. But you'll have thousands of people listening to Bill Mitchell on a space. Are you kidding me?
Olive, you brought up the Munson Act.
Smith
I always
Munt.
forget which one it is.
It's called the
Thank
Smith
you.
Munt Act. Munt.
And you know, we're at a crossroads as a society, and I think that's kind of the point. Is either you are learning that you have to inform yourself, or you are fine with accepting to do what the government tells you to do, even if it's wrong. And COVID really was that final push into those two camps. And it's one of the discussions that I have with my friends and family. And I try to have it as lovingly as possible that, you know, you can decide to do what the government wants to do because you think it's your government right now, but it doesn't stay your government for very long. It always mutates into something else that's self serving. And it's not serving society, it's serving itself. You've said that in the past, you've looked at it that way in the past, but just because you think it's your guy in office who's doing what you want him to do, you're willing to be subservient. And I am looking forward to the future and saying, please look at the big picture here and start to do your own, get your own information. Don't just swallow what they're spoon feeding you every day. And, I appreciate that you're out there saying the same thing, telling people they need to know about this, telling them it's important. Why did they hide it? Why didn't they tell you? How did this happen? How is this still in play? Because I don't understand it. I don't. I don't understand how that is allowed in the United States of America.
Not just in America, Canada, Australia. Those are two countries that I know for a fact that they've also passed this ridiculous, law to, save the politicians and the media's butt. It's disgusting. And but I'm just trying to, like navigate my way through this. And the only thing I know for a fact is that I'm not a Democrat and I'm not a Republican. Okay, because I can't support either one of them. I think that they're just all just bad jobs. And I just want to, live my life and be happy. But unfortunately, I need to know what's going on politically, and I want to make sure I'm understanding it correctly. So I appreciate you guys talking with me and, not getting angry with me. I do appreciate it. So thank you.
No, thank you, Olive. We always need someone to come in and question our ideals so that we can make sure they're still where they used to stand. Stellar?
Well,
Hold on, Tony.
Olive to
Stellar's been
your.
waiting.
Oh no, no, my
Yeah.
bad, my bad. Go ahead, Sel.
Go for it.
You guys are asking who the Q people are. They're clearly the disenfranchised. I mean, they are, when you look at racism or the definition of racism, it's It's literally who you look down upon. It really has nothing to do with color. And it was a movement to segregate. And that's all it was. It was a disenfranchised movement. And if people fell for it or people got stuck in it, I don't hate them for it. I just know that they've been hurt, right? And they were taken advantage of. It was a massive psyops. It was brilliantly, brilliantly activated. And for all the other people on the phone on here who are military, it is actually today is Purple Heart Day, National Purple Heart Day. So for the Gold Stars and Purple Hearts, today is your day.
So
So here's something unique. Here's something unique about the Q thing. Okay, we had somebody bring in somebody called DeFango, and he told the story and the inception and all this stuff. I mean, it's neither here nor there if he was the one that created it or not. But while he was talking, it brought out, if you guys remember, it brought out 2 to 3 different individuals that pinpointed where it came from. So it was definitely, in my opinion, that was a psyop because the 3 individuals came out with some, like, it was made in Florida. Military operations created it, right? But the Q, we can't, the argument is that it made us look deeper and um use discernment. It's kind of the reason I'm not even on Telegram no more because I was tired of discerning all the information that said it was already discernment was already used. It was exhausting. So, and if you come over here to Twitter now, you come over to SpaceX, you can go straight for the individual posting the information. Um, but we're seeing it just like everybody talking about the attractive attorney for Trump. But she laid something out that was really simple. Something bad, something comes up, Trump next day. Something bad comes up, Trump next day. I mean, there's 4 chronological things that happened, right? So the and there's a video going around. I can't think of the lady's name right now, but she's overseas. She's overseas saying that the Republic in 1871. So we're kind of revisiting something, and I'm like, why would she be saying that? So now we're dragging along. We're being drug along with another narrative. Shit happens. Like I told everybody else, I'm still waiting on my EBS, my emergency broadcast service. That is the fundamental. That was the very beginning. But as far as that goes, it's if I can remember the guy's @ sign, we will have to hold an evening space with DeFango, and you guys get to hear that story. Get to hear it. And there was a lot of folks upset. A lot of folks upset that he was throwing out this information. And I don't remember any of the Punchbowl guys were in there. I remember Max McAdams brought him in. So
I was there for the entire thing.
Yeah, and what was weird is that how he was composed, and for every question that was asked, he had an answer, and it wasn't like him haw. No, it was like, whoa, this guy's got a hell of a storyline, and if it's true, it's true. It's not, it's not. But it's regardless what you want to look. I don't like to use the word psyop, but boy, that definitely
Bishop.
kept us sedated.
Yeah,
What's
and
that?
Bishop, notice, like, I don't know what state it came from, but as a sort of old head on the internet, there are 2 phrases that I've always been sort of weary of. One of them is 4chan, and then the other one was 8kun. Because, like, 4chan, I remember the minute that sort of popped into my perspective, that my first glimpse of it was like, this is nightmarish, and someone's doing this to scramble our brains. And that's the first thing I knew about this Q thing, was that it was coming from 4chan. And immediately then I thought, well, I mean, it's coming from 4chan.
I mean, in all fairness, they do is they, I'm just trying to like figure out my identity. Okay. And I'm like, where do I fit in? Um, so, and I even sit in the queue, with the queue people, and I spend, a good, I mean, not just like a half hour, I'll sit in there and I'll clean my house, 6 hours, okay, do my laundry, everything. And they have good information. As a matter of fact, I was really impressive. They were talking about the Smith-Mundt Act. I'm like, oh my God, I love you, and then, but anyway, so, oh, shucks, but now I forgot what I was going to say because I got so excited about things, I just get so confused about, these politics and everything. It just bugs me and just irritates me. Oh, that's what it was. And so now, they come up with the weirdest things, okay? Like, um, they'll say Trump is still the president. Um, I would be bragging about that because I mean nobody's impressed with how America is right now. Well, at least the people that are watching it ball. Hello, don't be. That's nothing to brag about. I mean, if he's still president, then he better get his shit together, because it's worse. It's gonna be worse when he wins, or they're predicting that he's gonna win, and now we got tarot card readings going on in these QAnon spaces, and it's just getting really weird. Okay, and I don't know. I just unfortunately, Biden is the president. Okay. I don't like it either. I mean, it's just totally embarrassing. And it is me being a caregiver. I mean, I would be ashamed if I was part of the Biden family to have my loved one up there humiliating himself. Shame on the Biden family. That's what I got to say about that part.
Ain't that the craziest thing? If you mention anything about Q, I watch my follower count go down. Um, it's just one of them things. It's one of them things that um, let me put it this way. I had a tight group of people that would reel me in, right? Would reel me in like, how can this be? Why is this? Why is that? You're you're crazy. But it was out of respect. And if you didn't see the pattern how it worked Monday, oh, it didn't come, but we got this storyline. It'll be this Friday. It'll be this Monday. It'll be this Friday. It'll be this Monday. It'll be this Friday. November, what was it? November 11th, Veterans Day, 2021. Hands down, I'm done. And that was the foreign interference and seizure of assets. Remember all the containers out in the Pacific? That was my breaking point. Now the amount of information and videos and stuff they show it's just phenomenal. All the videos that are popping up from historical documents, and that's the most painful part about this whole thing is you've got Biden saying all these racial, all these bad things in his past. You've got all the video footage right there in front of us, and we're like 0.001% of the United States. I don't know whose hand was next.
We're going to go with Kevin.
Well, thank you, Jeff G. I will be quick. We interrupt this buckling up and trusting of the plan to tell you you're listening to Town Square with Bishop and the Jeffs, exclusively from the Punchbowl Network. Be sure to check us out at thepunchbowl.space to learn more about the Punchbowl team, pick up some cool merch, get a great deal from our sponsor, and find a link to joining our growing community of Punchbowlians on Discord. Town Square goes live every Monday through Friday, 8 a.m. to 11 a.m. Eastern, and join Kevin and Webb as they go live every Tuesday night at 7:30 p.m. for Garden and Homecast from the Nelson Gardens. But not this week. I'm taking the week off. Both shows are heard live on the all-new X Spaces 2.0 and now also heard on their original uncut and unedited greatness on Spotify and Rumble. Don't forget to follow your hosts and co-hosts and kindly like and retweet the space. Do it now. And now back to the show, voted best space on X by 3 out of 4 of Tap for Nerds alter egos, Town Square.
I think Stellar wins had his hand up.
Hey, and just to kind of further this QAnon thing, look, one, I never really quite dug the whole QAnon movement. That guy, whoever it was, the original person, was like, he would kind of, you'd see him in Reddit some years ago and lingering, and people used to really bag on him, just kind of, and they literally pushed him off of Reddit. But when it went on to like 4chan some later years, and Tap will probably know this, the somewhere along the line, the guy who was running 4chan, um, Ron Watkins, he took this thing over, and you could see in the trip codes and everything that it was him, and it was all a lie. But he was definitely getting information from somebody. Somebody was using him as a pawn and feeding him some information. Clearly, my best guess, it was just someone inside the government feeding him pictures and front running some news. And that was about it. But to this day, to see these QAnon wackos to be like, oh, trust the plan and this, that, and the other. And we already know it was Ron Watkins. And this whole thing, Q, was birthed out of like literally Jack Posobiec and Pizzagate. And he instigated that garbage. And you guys, you want to say, do your research because that guy literally created some really bad blood in the United States.
Just remember, you have to show some compassion too, though. This has been going on for 4 years, 5 years now, right? It's been going on longer than that.
And I'm sorry to interrupt. I am compassionate. I feel bad that people have been duped and they're being used. I'm sorry to interrupt, Bishop.
Oh no, that's pretty much what I'm saying. You gotta be compassionate. I mean, it's every time someone speaks, you gotta think where they're at and who they've been listening to. Even one of the bigger personalities that was over on Telegram is now. I've heard him talk, and I'm like, whoa, he's changed. You know, I haven't had a chance to actually ask him and say, hey, what was your breaking point? What point did you say, hands down, I'm washing my hands of this?
Bishop,
So
that's what irritates me too is, okay, so like the Democratic Party, they are solid. Okay, they all stick together. But the Republicans, we got the QAnons, we got now Bill Mitchell's side, we got Laura Loomer's side. We are so, split up and we're fighting each other. I just don't get it. I don't understand. That's the way I look at it. And even Donald Trump, he would say the Democrats, they stick together. They fight, they they fight.
They have Cornel West and Nina Turner and a bunch of other people too that they're trying to push down on their other side. If we're the voice on the conservative side, they have people on the far left side that they're trying to destroy.
Tony, Kevin, somebody go.
Yeah. I'll make it quick. So this is kind of off basis for me, but I don't know too much about. But I will say, talking about the whole 4chan and QAnon, the crazy thing is, if you go back and look at, I would say, a good amount of clips of whether it be conservative candidates or just conservative talk people, whether it be Jordan Peterson or other people. And when you ask about QAnon, most of the time, I would say, a majority of the time, people don't know what the fuck you're talking about. Because this has become like a liberal fucking talking point, that they've created this like imaginary monster of QAnon and have built it and pushed it into the media to where it's become a thing of its own and become this mysterious like force that is non-existent. Because as far as 4chan, and for those, and I know that some of you guys that are on here know that I've been in YouTube, and especially the early days, that Chris, who was pretty much the starter, well, him and his brother of 4chan were pretty much nobodies, and they ended up splitting up. One ended up pushing a lot of pornographic material. The other ended up uh, linking up and pushing 8chan later on down the road. And then as far as Ron Watkins, they were never like on board on anything. So that whole narrative of them being like linked up is a myth, or somehow that had became, uh, you know, a fact in some people's minds that they were never linked up any sort or any cause. So I'm always kind of like flabbergasted by it, because I think that a lot of people, I think that that's the fact that they drive it in the media so much that it becomes fact to so many people is like wild to me. And good on them that they drive narratives so hard to where it seems like it becomes factual, but they were not on board on any plane on any sort. Let's just like get that across. But yeah, and then as far as the fact of uh, and just to go back to what I was saying earlier, 4chan and QAnon, the one thing I will say is that the whole tying into Trump, that is something again that the media has attached themselves to, because if you remember early on, they had pretty much had said that a lot of the people that were on the site, and mind you, it was a site that was derived of gamers and pornographic material, and they started getting into political direction. And a lot of and I shouldn't say a lot, but a good little group had become fans of Trump, and the left wing grabbed onto that and attached themselves to that, and that's how that narrative got spun. But I think a lot of people don't realize you know the inner workings or the beginnings of that. But anyway, that's all I got.
Thanks, Tony. It is on you, Kevin.
Yeah, so I'll try to be brief. As most of you know, I followed the Q stuff for, I believe, as Samuel would say, a hot minute. And yeah, you watch these videos and think, wow, somebody's actually out there digging up all this information, and maybe there's something to this. But if you watch some of the videos, they're very nicely done, but they'll just show you like still photos of the entryway to a military bunker, and then they just do a lot of talking around that and tell you what's on the other side of that door, but they're very convincing about it. As far as Ron Watkins, I caught something early on. He was on OAN wearing his cowboy hat as a computer analyst, and then I made the connection later. So I still think he does have involvement there. But my greater point, and then I will land my plane, if that's what we're saying these days, is the people pushing this stuff. And I don't mean your aunt in Colorado that's telling you to buckle up every 10 minutes or stock up on gas and food. I'm not talking about normal people. I mean the people that are actually peddling this. I want to see them, because we do know that there are evil schemes out there. There are evil people. There is some truth to some of what has been put out there. It's been little bits of truth with a whole lot of fiction. The people peddling the Q stuff, I want to see them prosecuted right alongside Klaus Schwab and Bill Gates and everybody else, because they're just screwing with people. And I know a lot of people are like, well, X22, that guy's awesome, and he puts out a lot of good info. I'm sorry, the few times I actually listened to that dude, it was all about Q. And, well, we're going to go back to post 8675309 from June of 2017 when Trump said Purple Rain, and Purple Rain, that's because of Prince, and Prince Spaghetti Day is Wednesday, so that means Trump is actually planning to do something big this Wednesday. And now, an ad for a product you don't really need. I mean, X22 to me is one of the people, whoever's behind that little podcast. I want to see them swinging in the breeze with all the rest of the deep state people.
Linguistic kung fu, right? Linguistic kung fu.
Yeah. So that's my spiel. Obviously, I jumped off that train long ago.
Ask yourself, Kevin, why Kash Patel will show up on that podcast and why other serious people will show up on that podcast. And then it gets even weirder, I think. And I'll say this, HBO did a documentary about QAnon. I think everybody should watch. 21, March 21, I think. It was a spring of 21. And what you'll see is, and I think this connects a lot of the messages we've heard here from Stellar, Tony, Bishop, a lot of us, right? That what they do in that is sort of locate QAnon in the trailer park. It's the first scene, right? They go into a trailer park and they're like, here are the people that believe in QAnon or whatever, right? And what that does is, like Stellar was saying, is it instantly creates this sort of ghettoizing effect. I kind of think it's like a Frank Zappa thing. Like it was a targeted ad campaign for people who are smart, who love pattern recognition, because most humans, if they're normal, love patterns. And it was almost targeted to sort of like keep people like busy with something. It's like Sudoku. It's something I've noticed is you never meet like metropolitan people who are obsessed with Q and all of that stuff. It's always folks who live outside the cities, right, in the rural areas. Because in the city they gave them Sudoku, and you see like if you think Q is evil, like Sudoku and Wordle, those things are way worse.
Sam, do you know what would the fictitious writers for military operations? There was my nephew's infantry, and he'd sent me. It's like, man, have you seen these guys? These guys are recruiting, and I was reading. I was like, well, shit, that's some language we used in uh, scout and forward observing, and and I was like, man, that's bizarre, So I started digging, and I can't remember their name, but there's a whole group of folks out there that write like that, and that's the first thing that came to mind on some of the aspects of Q was this group of writers that would make a fictitious movement or an operation, all black ops and spooks type language. I can't remember what it was called.
Well, I know one of my favorite things on the internet, and this is because I think this goes to Olive's point about Smith Munt, is that Smith Munt is like, oh, now we're allowed to do information operations in country, and most of us, I think, accept at this point they've always been doing information operations on us. There's a freaking account on Twitter that claims to be a group of dudes who are stationed at Fort Bragg, and they call themselves the Fourth Psychological Operations Group. And if you start scratching at them, you run into like lots of weird stuff, right? Like they were the guys who created the inflatable army for D-Day to sort of like lure German scouts away from landing zones and such. And they claim in this video that they've published to the world, best I can see, it does come from the government or something that's cleverly disguised to look like the government, where they basically admit, like, right now we're running an information operation on you. Like, we write novels, we write TV shows, we're the radio, we're the TV. And it sounds nuts, but if you've never seen the CIA testify in front of Congress back in the 70s, it'll change your life to see the director of the CIA admit in Congress in 1974, I have employees all throughout the media, and they're paid, and they're contractors, and they're everywhere.
Well, Sam, to your point that you made in another space, talking about the Patriot Act that we were discussing. This was, a month or two ago. Talking about the way they've been able to utilize the QAnon and the whole Jan 6 situation to be able to say, look, we're going to look domestically. Domestically, this is the by far the greatest threat, and we need all of the aid from the U.S. government to look into these people. They are by far, and we've heard this on many bases, right? Especially from Biden, uh, the white supremacists, and QAnon is the number one threat. We need the full aid, and being able to access the full government force to look in and go against, of course, our American people. But the fact that you had I don't know if anybody's in here that was in that space, but the fact that you had said, Sam, was that they've been able to turn, which is really a sick, sadistic act, a tragedy of 9/11, where they were able to pass the Patriot Act and push it this far into 2023, and being able to look in on churches, look in on uh, these not abortion clinics, but pro-life stances, been able to do what they're able to do. It's I don't have any words for it, but it it's sad.
Morning, Chad. How are you today?
I went to bed pissed off at Q, and I wake up and hear about it. I'm excited to be here. Thanks for having me.
Much love.
I mean, are we still fucking playing this shit? I hear people talk. I got into a room yesterday and just got lit up by a waitress and a licensed massage therapist, Lomi, fucking from Hawaii. And I'm sitting there. She's like, General Flynn, blah 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 blah. I was like, do you know that I talked to General Flynn? I mean, I'm not trying to throw names out there, but do you want me to put pictures? You want me to show you the events we've traveled together? I got an award the same night as him and Tracy Beans, the exact same award. So can you riddle me where the fuck you're talking about? You don't know because the plan is in place and you're in the movie and you don't understand. You're there as opposition. And I'm like, what? And she said, you don't even realize that Trump is so far ahead because he's from the future. And I said, well, are you shitting me? You need medicine and you need to stop eating poi because that shit's nasty, and you need to aloha your ass to a mental hospital. And then at the end of the day, and you know how it all started, Bishop? Do you know how it all started? This chick went on a 30-minute soliloquy about all this bullshit of the military being in charge, and the Trump's not the president, but he's the CIC, which is commander in chief, blah blah blah. And it was 30 minutes, and they said, Chad, do you have anything? And I said, what difference does it make, and what the fuck are you doing? What are you doing? What do you mean? What are you doing to help your country? Well, I'm researching. You're researching about time machines and shit. Tell me what you're doing. You're in Hawaii, 65 foot by 150 miles, whatever your island you're on. What are you doing? What are you talking about? They could not answer that. None of this means shit. And it's just a bunch of crap. And I heard about the different psyops and all that the government, yeah, they're doing it all the time. But if you're not actively doing anything against it or actively doing anything within the rules and the game, then really are you doing anything but just reading shit and regurgitating it to get other people to follow Derek Johnson's dumbass? Is that really what we're doing? It just blows my mind. Sorry.
Well, Chad, you do have to understand. I've been on many of spaces where you've been in, and I love you to death, man. You see this so close up and so often, where we're kind of like, a lot of us are outsiders, so we're just regurgitating and chopping it up with each other, where you're just like, you're fucking over it.
Well, I appreciate that, Triforce. I do. But that's why I'm in these spaces. Do you think I want to be in international spaces? I love international. It's cool. But I sit there all day. In the picture that you see right now of me is me all fucking day. Like I live in a perpetual state of what the fuck. And it just drives me nuts. I actually was texting General Flynn last night. I said, just come in this room and say, shut the fuck up about Q. And he texted me back this morning, laugh out loud, going surfing. You know, I mean, come on, man. I'm just sitting here like somebody's just got to plant their flag in these dumb fucks and call it a day. You should see my DMs. You're fucking going to be put on tribunals in Cuba. Oh, that was the other thing. Guantanamo. I brought a buddy of mine into a room who was in Guantanamo. I said, how's the tribunals going? He goes, what? I'm mowing the yard. That's what I thought. Thanks for coming in. This is fucking retarded. And then all of a sudden they called me a psyop. Some chick said that because I was explaining to somebody what to do to get involved in child trafficking, and this chick lost her shit saying she was trafficked by the FBI and that fucking Mitch McConnell or some shit was trafficking her. I was just like, what? She was on a spaceship. And I'm just sitting there and she's losing her mind. And she's been in my DMs for 2 days just blowing me up. And I'm keeping it because it's kind of funny. I mean, I kind of enjoy it. It's making me laugh. But these are sick people, man. And here's the thing, Triforce. Use discernment. I don't care who you are. If 2 plus 2 still equals 4. I don't care about Common Core. I don't care what it is, who it is. At the end of the day, yes, I'm in it every day. I live it. I'm a lot closer to a lot of this. But I have a lot of questions too, man. But like I always say, if the government wants you to know, you're going to know. If the government doesn't want you to know, you're not going to know. If you know and the government doesn't want you to know, you're dead. That's exactly how our intel works. That's exactly how our clandestine bullshit goes down. Do you think all these people that got shot in the back of the head hanging from a tree, suiciding themselves that were connected to Clinton really didn't know anything? This is how the game works, man. And all these people out there like Derek Johnson's big ass cowboy dumbass ass. I want to punch that guy so bad in the mouth, and I'm not. Well, I mean, I am violent, but I'm not that violent. The guy sucks. I sat there and read through his page the other day, going, people actually believe this shit. It's dangerous. And why is it dangerous? Triforce, we're what, 14 months ahead behind this, or with this presidency or the election, and people are like, trust the plan, chill out. Those people are off of the game. They're not in the game. Bodies win, numbers win, and we are psyoping ourselves, since everybody likes to use that word. It's ridiculous, man.
Thanks, Chad. Love?
Sorry.
No, you're good.
So I have a question for Chad in 1 second. So yeah, I mean, like I go into all political spaces. The other night I spent 4 hours in Blacks for America. I'm trying to figure out where I fit in, okay? And they were talking about reparations. And did you guys know that it is like racist to even ask where the money's going to come from? It's just so interesting on how people think and everything. But my question to you, Chad, is that so when General Flynn, when he says digital warriors, what is he talking about there? Because that seems to be like a big thing in the Q movement.
General Flynn from day one, and I've said it, he says it after every speech, and he has different iterations of it, but it's the same thing he always says. Local impact has national influence. Digital warriors, where is everybody comfortable, especially during COVID where he ramped it up? People are comfortable on their phones. People are comfortable. We're watching. That was right when the censorship really started taking over, and other platforms like CloutHub and Getter and other places that we all went to before Twitter came back. Be a digital soldier. Write. Make a blog. All of these things. The whole idea of digital soldier had zero to do with Q. General Flynn has been caught on a hot mic. He's been caught in being interviewed about Q. Tracy Beans, great friend of mine, lives right here in South Carolina. She brought Q out of the message board. and all of a sudden she's Q. It's not. General Flynn, Tracy, myself, a lot of other people that have been in this fight have always been about people getting involved. You're not going to hear anything from General Flynn in any speech other than get involved. And the digital soldier was a quick, easy way for non-political people to get involved, to get out there, no harm, no foul, because General Flynn knows that politics is skin on skin. He knows that people come after each other, especially local politics. And the thing is that General Flynn wanted people to find a comfortable way to get involved. And if we own the digital game, like Trump did in 2016, then it was expected that we would own the presidency. I have, to this day, the back of one of his speeches, the night I got an award with him at Rock the Red, the night that I took out the guy that was trying to arrest him, and it subsequently got me in this lawsuit. But on the back of that paper, he explained to me what the plan is. And the plan is to trust is that we have to find moderate Democrats to bring into the idea of being Republican, expose the extreme left, and keep the Democrats fighting for stupid for the rest of their lives. By then, the Christian conservative party should always be in charge. General Flynn's not even a Republican. He's a moderate Christian Democrat, which has moved so far away from him that it's not recognizable anymore. So he essentially is a Republican at this point. There are a lot of General Flynn's out there, and that was his point. Get involved, find where you live, and go after it. I have given speeches to. I actually went to Virginia, and I spoke with a group that wanted to take back their Democratic Party. And I went and spoke to a whole group of Democrats on how to take back their party.
So General Flynn is a Democrat?
General Flynn has always been a Democrat.
Wow.
But the thing is, what is a Democrat? And that's where I'm at with it. What is a Republican? Is Lindsey Graham a Republican? No. Lindsey Graham's a piece of shit. Mitch McConnell's a piece of shit. Kevin McCarthy, McPussy, is a piece of shit. I can go down the list. Why? See, we like to tribe up. That's what really bothers me. Like I tell people, and General Flynn will tell people, I'm a Democrat, but I'm here fighting for my country. The same with you, as conservatives that are about the party left him. But we like to tribe up. Can Republicans and Democrats work together? Look at all the Republicans that are saying, man, it'd be awesome if Trump and RFK went against each other. You're damn right it would. That's what we got to start thinking about, is the country, instead of trying to tribe up. And my whole argument with getting involved in the Republican Party is that I just hate the fact that we've pussified ourselves to the point where we just allow the Republican Party to just be taken over, and people are like, I'm taking my football and going to go be an independent. You're out of the game and you're a pussy. I'll say it about that. Doesn't make sense. When did America say, oh, you're going to take that over and I'll just let you have it and I'll go over here and start something new? It's never been the American way, ever. But somehow or another, that's where we've got, oh, I don't like the Republican Party. They're mean. I'm going to go start being an independent or a libertarian or something else that has no place in our political lexicon. Zero. Their math doesn't make sense. They're always a spoiler. They have no seat at the table. It's all bullshit. Show me how many libertarians are in Congress. Show me how many independents are in Congress. Show me how many Tea Party are in Congress, communists that are under their flag, which, Ilhan Omar and them should stop calling themselves Democrats. But that's where we're at right now. And that's where we've got to start being honest with each other. But that's where the digital soldier originally came from, was to get people involved in, because the rest of us were getting canceled. So they wanted them to carry the torch, and until that's when you saw social media start doing mad censoring, because the digital soldiers were rising up. And we had Shells in here somewhere, I think. We had General Flynn on the Red Voice Shell Shock Spaces, and he said straight up, I asked him, the digital soldier time is over, is it not, General Flynn? He said, yes, it's time to get active. So Q can they're hanging their hat on whatever they can, because the rest of it's falling apart.
Hey guys, can I get 2 minutes here? I got to jump off because I have another call, but I have something to add.
Do it. Do it.
Thank you guys. Thank you. So I am going to talk a little fast, but back in 2020, I was looking at this Q stuff more so to research it. If you have not watched the HBO documentary like Chad recommended, it just totally dismantles it. It shows you these two idiots, Ron Watkins and his father, I forget his name. They are totally unreliable jerk offs. They are complete weirdos. They are the ones that are clearly pointing to Q. With that said, General Flynn, I do believe, had some aspect in the Trump administration, and there were a couple people underneath him, and I think some of the people in this group may be aware of the names or should absolutely look into them. The first is Devin Nunes, the second is Ezra Cohen, and the third is Kash Patel. These folks were very involved with what I believe was cyber warfare going on not only in our country, but externally as well. And when I looked at what Ezra Cohen specifically was doing and saying during the period of 2020 into 2021, it was very interesting. He was promoted a few times. Kash Patel was moved around. I do believe that these folks had some backroom understanding, not necessarily related to Q or even at all, but the fact that these digital soldiers, I think that's what was coming in. There was some sort of department in our cyber industry, and that's really when things started opening up. Was Space Force was put into effect. You did hear some crazy conspiracies like the Leonardo satellite out of Italy. But one thing for all the veterans in this room, maybe Tap, you might be interested to study this a little bit. But there was, I don't know who else is a veteran here, but there's something called MDOE. It's a form of modern warfare. MDOE stands for multi-domain operating environment. And it's determinative of the fact that warfare is no longer fought on a battlefield, the same way that we feel that Russia-Ukraine war might be a psyop or a money laundering operation, whatever it may be. That's what an MDOE is. It creates distrust within the country throughout all the different avenues that you can do such, whether it's through the media, whether it's through social media, whether it's through sabotaging power grids or oil lines, right? Like the Nord Stream that blew up. That's a multi-domain operating environment where we're not killing civilians. We're not bombing Hiroshima or Nagasaki anymore to take out the civilians. We're now destabilizing their government so we can have economic control. And that's the difference between how modern warfare is fought and not. And that's how I interpreted what digital warfare or how online soldiers or whatever the word we were using is. But guys, I got to hop on a call. Thank you for letting me speak, and
Thanks for
y'all.
bringing us back to ground floor, Charles. Stellar, how's it going?
So this thing about Flynn, I think you guys, I think, Chad, you're giving this guy a little bit too much credit. I've run across Flynn over the years in different units in the military. He was a good guy when he was younger. I have no problems with that. I'm not friends with him. I don't know him personally. I thought he was a good leader. I think he's a horrible leader now. He should be speaking up about leaders lead by example. And that is the cornerstone of leadership in the military, at least in the Army. And he doesn't lead by example. You know why? Because he went surfing this morning and he didn't speak up and say, hey, you know what? I'll come to this group, I'll lead, and I'll make sure you guys know that this Q stuff or this other stuff is garbage. And then on the flip side of a couple other things, libertarianism. I'm a libertarian, been in the military twice. I left the military the first time because I was getting sick of wars and what they do to our country. Now, find me any other political group that will say that and earn my vote, my conservative vote, because I believe in the Constitution. I'm a conservative constitutionalist. But if you want to denigrate libertarians, you want our vote, do something that will say, hey, I'll change something and I'll earn your vote. But we're not a spoiler, we're a changer.
Fun. Well, let me tap into that a little bit, because if you're such a conservative and whatnot, why would you not take over your Republican Party? Why would you take your football and go start a new party that has no place in the Republican, or I mean in the Constitution and what we do as far as our elections? You run a convention. There are only two primaries in this whole country. That is Republican and Democrat. That is the only. Do you really think you're picking who you want at a convention? There's one convention for the entire country, and you don't think there's some fat cats up there that are putting their best moron forward? Exactly. And the reasons that libertarians, you're the angriest part of the conservative party because of whatever reasons. I don't necessarily disagree with what you're saying. But my question is, if you're a conservative constitutionalist, which the Republican Party was essentially formed as, why would you not bow up and go take over your shit? But no, you decide to go take it over here so you can yell from outside of the game on the sidelines and say, no, all you teams that are playing are shit, instead of getting in the game. Because the only two parties in the game in a two-party system is the Democrats and Republicans. You libertarians are over there on the sidelines bitching. That's all you're doing. I'm a get in the game guy. We took over 21 counties in South Carolina. 21. We missed it by 4 counties to be able to take over and get rid of the piece of shit SCGOP chairman. But we're going to get him on the next one. He knows it. We've made 30 legislators not run because we've called them out on their shit, and we are actually holding their feet to the fire. There ain't no libertarians. I don't even know what a libertarian is. Basically, a libertarian, everyone I've talked to, is a pissed off conservative that refuses to get in the game because they don't like the Republican Party because of some reason. And that makes zero sense to me, because everything you just said is about as conservative and where I stand as a conservative and a Republican as anybody. But you took your football and went to play with the libertarians, and I've decided to stay in the fight and take back my Republican Party. That's the thing that I have a problem with the libertarians. And as far as General Flynn, yeah, he went surfing today, but he did 3 events in 2 states yesterday talking about exactly what you said. But you don't like him because you think he needs to be in this fucking space so that he can lead from the front. He is leading from the front. I'm a proxy of his and somebody that is well documented around him and speaking to his what he does say, which I just said has nothing to do with Q, but has everything to do with local and taking back your party. When did we go over and take over libertarians? When did we go and start new parties? He was the first one out to tell everybody to shut up about the Patriot Party. He said, you take back your parties, take them back, fight for them. And to disparage him because he decided to go surfing today, that's pretty sad when it was somebody that lives in the fight every day and has lost a ton of money as he was because he have the lawyers he's had to pay for is really disingenuous. And as the head of DNI, when he was putting together operations that took out some of the worst terrorists in this country and brought everybody home, by the way, is pretty disgusting to say based off of your concept of leadership and him showing it. He's absolutely showing it. His entire message has always been about fiercely local and fiercely about what's going on and getting people involved. So the fact that he's
Are you gonna keep putting words in my mouth? Are you gonna keep putting words in my mouth, sir?
Oh, whatever. You go ahead. I'll let the room decide what words and what's not. Basically, these are what you said. You said he's a nice guy in the times you've been around him and whatnot, but he's supposed to lead from the front because he's out surfing. Yeah, he did a couple events yesterday, traveled all over the place, and that's where he goes and gets his shit together. It's kind of hard being in the swamp all day and in this toilet bowl, but we live in it, and we expect people to give us shit when we go do something for ourselves.
Yeah, but so the Libertarian Party thing, yeah, in my state, I'll tell you what state I live in, Colorado, we teamed up with actually the GOP in the state, and it's completely weak in this state. So you're kind of denigrating us. I'm not really denigrating the GOP. I'm not doing that.
For the record, I am.
You know what?
I
If
think the
anything,
libertarians are pussies.
That's great. That's great. So I'm a libertarian. You just call me a pussy. Really? Do you have to denigrate me on me or use those words?
Tell me where you're not in the fight. We got 14 months. We got a world going around us. So let's talk real. I think the Libertarian Party, which I can prove, has 0 position and 0 place in our political lexicon. Do you not want to be in the fight? Are you not somebody that you seem like you're very knowledgeable? It doesn't not seem that you need to be in the fight. And the fact that the Libertarians and the Republicans are teaming up, that's basically saying that we're kind of getting to be libertarians. So if the Republicans fuck this up, we are allowed to say, well, we're libertarians. We didn't have any part of it. Either be all in or not. I don't like wishy-washy shit. That's why France sucks.
I just don't get the anger, man. If our party is anti-war, more power back to the people, and we know as a party we're not going to change the whole Republican Party. But if you took on some libertarian ideas, some pieces like that, maybe the Republican Party would be better. See, I'm not angry at you. You're angry at me. And I'm sorry that you're angry at me because I took my vote down the street because I didn't want to vote for a system that wasn't very good.
No, I'm not angry
See,
about
and you already said that. So why wouldn't I speak up and say I will withhold my vote? And maybe when you guys are better than you act, if you're not just some uniparty, maybe you'll get my vote.
Thank you. You proved my point. And I'm not angry. Never been angry. I'm passionate as shit about this because I live in it. And what I'm saying to you, and by you proving my point, is you just said, I'm going to take my vote down the road, i.e., on the sidelines. While the Republicans and Democrats fight it out, you guys took your shit down the road. That's exactly what I'm saying. You have no vote. You have no
Wow.
place. You have
We
neutral.
have voting. We have voting. We're the
Keep
only other party that has
keep the
voting
fire,
rights in
guys.
50
Keep the
states, sir.
fire. I'm gonna go to Kevin and let him speak. Keep your fire, though. I love it.
Thanks for the Punchbowl allotment there for me to jump in real quick. Chad, I agree with 99.9% of what you said, but I do want to point to something that Stellar said and get your take on this. You said that General Flynn, who I know is well respected in this room, has been caught on a hot mic saying that Q is bullshit. So, to Stellar's point, why, since most of the Q movement thinks that he is a key figure in the Q goings on, why does he not step up and say, come on, guys, Q is bullshit. Q is not going to save you. Step up and do the work. And that's the only, out of this back and forth between you two, that's the only part that stuck with me a little bit. He shouldn't have to get caught on a hot mic. He shouldn't have to, oh, well, he told a friend that Q is bullshit. If he is everything we think he is, that his next event, he needs to get out there publicly and say, I don't know what you've heard, but this Q nonsense is nonsense. But it's almost like he doesn't want to, you know, lose that support from the Q side. So that's all I wanted to throw in. I think that's where he's missing the mark, kind of like Trump still supporting the vaccines. I think Flynn needs to just put it out there. Q is bullshit. Do the work, get involved, and that's my only question on that.
The only problem with that is, and I'll explain it to you. He was the former head of DNI. He's the biggest spy we've ever known. He understands how to play the game. He's played the game. He can play the game on people all day. He brought a lot of people to the game, Q or QAnon or whatever the fuck they call themselves. At the end of the day, he really, and this is, I've had this conversation with him. He's actually said it on multiple interviews about Q. He'll be like, why are we talking about this? He's always flippant about it. And just, but the biggest problem he has is that Q and Anon, or whatever, one of them, have brought a lot of people to do their own research. There's a lot of people that started with Q and found themselves really involved in their political lexicon. But have you ever, and I just talked to you about, I was in a space yesterday and all I did is say, what are you doing? And they lost their shit. At the same time, for him to go out, Tracy Beans has gone out and wrote about it. She was the one that was supposed to be the person that brought QAnon to the world. She's suing ABC, NBC, everybody, saying she was the queen of QAnon. She's already been out and said this is all horseshit. But what it did is it brought a lot of people to the game. And if the general goes out there and he's doing risk and reward and saying all of you QAnon people are fucking idiots. How many people, you saw how easy they turn on me or any of you if you question Q in any way, shape, or form. They lose their mind. So are they big enough of a problem for the general to have to go out and squash? I don't know. I don't think they are. And me, I'm about honing the message. When I go into a room and I give them perspective, if they lose their shit on me, they lose their shit on me. This is where I spend my time. The general, he'd have to speak for himself, but ultimately the general is about, and he will always say it, this is about numbers. And that's where this really comes down to. And anybody in this room that listens to me, it's about addition, not subtraction. So to go out there and destroy the Q or the Anon, we know, Dave, I sat right there next to General Flynn and Dave from X-22 in Tulsa, Oklahoma. And I looked at Dave. I was like, $10,000 a show. And he said, or $10,000 an episode. His exact words are, it's hard not to make sure there's another episode. This is what it is, man. Use discernment. And that's one of the things that if you listen to General Flynn, he says that common sense, discernment, mama bears, take back your babies, blah, blah, blah. He's always talking about the stuff that people need to talk about. He doesn't go out and talk about Q shit. But when Q is brought to his feet, he's pretty much always blown it off in a flippant way. But to go out there and say, fuck Q, you're all idiots, is only subtraction. And as a leader, his job is to choose his words to make sure that we keep addition. And that's what it is. I get what you're saying, Kevin. I do. But it's not that simple in trying to keep people engaged. Our biggest problem in politics is apathy, not whether or not QAnon is real and General Flynn is behind it or not.
Go ahead, Debbie.
Hi, good morning. Well, I'll tell you what, when I first started, I really got into the queue. I was totally in it. I believed it, hook, line, and sinker. I did my own research, and I realized that I don't want to be in it like that. There's a lot of stuff that's hopium that I do hope that comes true, but I know in my heart that I think it was set up to keep us at bay, to keep the people from storming the Capitol. I think it was an actual psyop on us. So I stepped away from it, but I totally understand what you're saying. I still, in my heart of heart, hope it's true, but I know it's not. And I followed the groups and I followed all the stuff, and I could never get into the numbers part of it, but I felt better stepping away from it. But I still feel like there's parts of it that I hope come true, but I'm just being honest out there. It was a game played on us, and if you go to Telegram, there's 100,000 people still playing the game. It's sad. Thanks.
It's hard to put so much time and effort into something and to realize it's a fantasy. Some people are hanging on to it. Some people's grift are connected to it. Either way, it does nothing for our country. And the best thing is I don't care what you hope and believe. Fine. Trump is in charge. The frilly shit on a flag says everything to the country, blah, blah, blah. I'm all go for it. But at the end of the day, tell me what you're doing. Tell me what you're doing to get involved to get in front of Q and make sure the country is going to be better when whatever holy time machine bullshit happens. Tell me what you're doing.
Can I
I'm not saying you particularly. I'm
add?
talking about Q.
No, what I was going to say is there's got to be something, though, going on behind the scenes, because somebody is arresting these politicians for child. I mean, I'm seeing them arrested for being pedos. I'm
Who's
seeing
being
that.
arrested?
And I know that's not Biden. I mean, I can't say their names because I don't know them right off, but every now and then you'll see a group of kids saved or a pedo arrested. I have been seeing that in the background. So I'm wondering who's doing that, because I'm sure it's not Biden.
Your law enforcement, and there's other groups out there that are working underground that are finding and searching out these pedos, finding the kids. There's a lot of different. And here's the thing, Miss Daffy. Ultimately, and Kevin, if you've been around General Flynn, then you've been around a lot of these types. There's always operations going on everywhere. And the real problem is the things that QAnon or Q or whatever, or people that think they know intel, they're talking about intel that's so damn old that they're already 5 operations ahead of you. So what you think you're uncovering isn't there anymore. There are already 5 other operations to the point where what you're talking about could be the operation. Do you see how stupid this is and how it just keeps messing with? Simple discernment would be there. And the idea of General Flynn not getting in front of QAnon is because the Democrats work on the lowest common denominator, meaning people that aren't too intelligent and that can be easily sheeped. Why would the Republicans not do the same? We're talking about harvesting ballots. Why wouldn't we try to work our lowest common denominator in Republicans and keep them on the hook to do what they're told? All we got to do is whoever's the Q person is like, okay, everybody go vote. We fix the machines. Whatever. God knows. I don't know what that answer is. But as far as operations go in the world of who's doing what, Miss Staffy, there are thousands of operations going on everywhere. If you use common sense and discernment, you're probably going to be okay.
Tony, jump on in, buddy.
Yeah, I'll make it quick because I got to crash out. I will say this, that for anybody jumping in the mix, especially in the Punch Bowl, we love you, man. Regardless if you're independent, whether you're left leaning, right leaning, it's just all spirited debate. I, for those that know, my wife's a huge Democrat, love her to death, been in love with her, won't stop being in love with her because of her political differences. It's a finding a median, but at the same time, trying to have a spirited debate about it. I will say to kind of end this off for me at least, to what you were saying, Chad, was or kind of going a different direction with it. I was in the chat with you, in the space with you, I should say, with the Kerry Lake and the whole election situation when that was going on. It was like very intense. I You had mentioned during that whole segment and that situation about uh, not necessarily just the Republicans, but in general, that we needed to kind of conform, try to um, push the votes out. Me and my wife have been kind of, especially I'd say the past 3 or 4 months, kind of on the front line trying to go out there, especially my wife, during going out in church, going out with, uh, especially with some of the congregations, and trying to, you know, motivate the last election, and then of course coming to this election trying to be more active, and of course trying to get more young people active with it. Do you think that a lot of the young people, especially coming this election cycle in 2024, uh, the drop off ballots and the stuff, do you think that the Republican Party needs to conform more to the Democratic Party with a lot of the things that they're doing to try to win this election?
I don't necessarily like the word conform because I still think the Democrats are doing dirty. But at the same time, the Republicans are, I can prove that there's a uniparty now, especially with the whole idea of Gavin Newsom and DeSantis having a debate when Gavin's not even running for president. I believe that he's going to be running for president, but this just goes to show you that the uniparty is trying to put things together. So now back to the idea of conformity. The conformity isn't necessarily what I'm about, but I understand that's the word you're using. Yes, we need to use every legal aspect of the vote to make it be a part of whatever we're doing. Now, do I want people to go out there and ballot harvest? I really think I don't even like saying it because I think it just opens us up to corruption everywhere. And not that there isn't already there. My idea, or what I was trying to say, is that we need to be involved in the vote. Go out and engage. I love the fact that your wife is a Democrat. I'm sure you guys engage on it often, and at the same time, you're going to have mixed groups of people hanging out with each other. That's where that engagement will happen. I've had multiple Democrats that have said the party's left me, man. I had to vote for Trump. That's where we have to use discernment. We have to use real shit. Now, if I go up to a Democrat and say, but you understand Donald Trump just got out of a time warp and he's actually barren from the future, and that we are under control by General Miley or the
Trust the plan.
Trust the plan. Thank you, Aaron. But this is what I'm talking about. But if you go up and say, you know what, they're saying that the Bidenomics is working, but you know what, wages are down 3.5%, groceries are up 14.5% within the last 3 weeks, gas has doubled. You know what, that hits home. When you talk about your county council, when you talk about all of those things, those hit home because your biggest form of taxes come from your state and local. The feds just add cherry on top to piss us all off, but we don't pay attention to any of it. So yes, getting the young people right now, the Republican Party is punking the pony right now because they're not doing shit for the youth. The youth with Harry Simpson and his fluffer Chris Mowry, they are going full damn tilt, and they're going to bring a large Gen Z. Gen X needs to get in the game. Boomers are holding on like for dear life as Skeletors. I mean, their bones walking around running shit. And the Gen X isn't doing shit. Millennials are confused as fuck. And Gen Z all of a sudden are either super Republicans or super Democrats. But there's a whole lot more super Democrats because they're dumb as shit over the last two generations. They've dumbed down our youth, be it millennials and Gen Zs. So really, I would love to find somebody that has a program that's able to reach out to those people, because the youth, I think, is going to be a deciding factor unless the women of this country go full tilt. In general, I'll
I
just say,
I, I think that I think that's not to interrupt you, big
sure.
dog. I think that's like, and from what my wife was talking to me about, is going to be the X factor. I'm I'm call me hopeful, but a lot of my wife's friends, a lot of people that I'll just say my wife coerces with, are the whole. I don't want to say the LGBTQ community is the complete reason, but that has shifted the planes big time.
So we got people in the audience, guys, asking for links or direction to where they can go to the QAnon and get information that you're speaking about directly. Do any of you guys have any links to that?
Yeah, look up trusttheplan.com or I'mAretard.com.
Seriously, Aaron.
The only person I know that's spitting this stupid is Derek Johnson on Twitter. And then there's all kinds of fledgling QQs out there, and I don't know where their sites are. I know X22's on Rumble, which I never followed any of these people because I've always lived. If you're not gonna if you're not gonna show your face, then you don't have enough balls to get behind your words. That's kind of,
I told him I would ask, Chad.
yeah. I don't know exactly where their mothership is, but I mean they're all around.
Olive?
Okay, so now I've learned that there's Q and then there's Q on. I mean, so now this side of the party, I'll just call it, is really split up more so than what I thought was. I mean, I just don't see where any of this is doing any good. General Flynn does need to come out and say that, you guys, no, this is hogwash. We need to calm down, because it does matter. Trump saying that the vaccine is not safe and effective, that does matter. Those are facts. But instead, we're going to alternative facts, such as Trump is not a politician. That's another one that's very frequently used in this space alone. We have to be honest with ourselves. We cannot be making up our own definitions like the Democrats do. I feel that that is very, very reckless, and it's not reality. Thank you for letting me speak.
Thanks, Olive. Well, I'm getting ready to go adult for a little while. I've got stuff to do. Samuel's going to take over for me. It's Samuel, and then Stellar, and then Aaron.
If
Have a
everybody's
good one,
doing,
buddy.
yeah, exactly, Jeff. Enjoy the adulting. If everybody's doing their own research, that's troublesome. Like literally everyone. If everybody was doing it, that's troublesome. Something we have to get back to is just discerning good information from bad. I remember the first time one of my students came to me and said, "Hey, have you heard about all this racism at the University of Missouri?" This is a number of years ago, and I say no, but I'm interested, so like tell me about it. And where'd you get your evidence? Right, I'm a teacher, that's my point. Where'd you get your evidence? And they pointed me towards like a random Twitter handle, and then I realized like the news was no different. Like the major news media would come on the TV at night and cite Twitter as information. And I think this phrase "do your own research" could lead us into some trouble, which is everybody's just in their own sort of like little cubicle doing their research, and none of us are speaking with one another and weighing information the way we do here in the Punch Bowl. And I think that's more important, which is share your research, like listen to other people's and learn to weigh information.
Well, we all have to agree on it. We cannot be, it's a
No,
fact,
Olive, we don't. And
right?
notice, like, you keep saying, like, and I'm sorry to do this, but like Trump has to say this or Flynn. No, they don't. Leave them alone. Who cares about them, right? Like, do make your own decisions, right? Deal with it. If Trump doesn't want to say that, who cares? You know better, right? Is it Aaron or Stellar, Jeff?
It's the libertarian.
That's you, Stellar. He's trying to slander you, but
Aaron and I know each other, like, so. I mean, like, he can talk all the smack about
I mean, they
libertarianism
let the
about me.
shaman go on the other day, so they've lost even more credibility.
I do get kind of upset that the shaman was on the Mises Caucus the other day, and however, I do get upset that people believe that he is some very religious guy and he's got his, I don't know, Christians following that guy is like a false prophet. That is goofy, goofy shit. So sorry to swear on here. I know you guys don't do that. But really, one last thing, Chad. It's funny how you were able to give the QAnon guys a total pass. You used no denigrating language to them. You didn't swear. You didn't swear about them, but you swore about my party.
Yeah,
And I kind of find that you did, though. You gave them a total
let me fix
pass,
that.
and you
QAnons are fucking idiots. How about that? Better?
It's great, great. There you go. Good on you. But you did give them a pass, bro. So where at least my party has a platform, has an idea. It's not some trust the plan idea. It's a fiscally conservative idea. It's an idea that we are against war. Stop sending our troops to war. I've been to plenty of wars, and none of them mattered. None of them have done anything for our country, unfortunately.
Stellar, I'm sorry I hurt your feelings. I really am. And the idea of the libertarians and who they represent is that of the conservative party. The only difference is the libertarians are pissy about the Republican Party instead of fixing it. I'm one of those people that just assume why not go take over? There's an entire reorganization, there's an entire platform that has been put ahead of us for 200 years to take back our party. But nope, we splinter. And the word splinter in itself, in its definition, never usually ends well. So the idea of splintering into anything other than, like Miss Olive says, that we should all be on the same page. I don't care if you're a Republican and you think that there's a part of freedoms that you and I disagree with. I think that makes the Republican Party better. I think libertarians actually standing with the Republicans and standing under the same umbrella of the Republican Party or the same team makes a lot of sense. I think it makes the Republican Party better. But to stand there with your umbrella that's a whole different color, but saying we're working with you as if we're some UN joint forces makes zero sense to me, and it always gives the other team a way out.
Why would it? Why does it make zero sense that in my state the Libertarian Party is working with the GOP? It's hand in glove. If anything, they've abandoned us already, and we're doing the work, and they're doing nothing.
To be fair, you're working with the GOP. You're not working with the Republican Party.
The Libertarian Party works with the Republican Party everywhere, or they would have no stance at all. They don't have the numbers, and they do not. And if you would listen to what I'm saying, is there's two parties in this country that have an official. When I am executive committeeman in my state, I have a legal vote. I have a legal reason to get an attorney, sue the GOP, do what I need to do. There isn't any. The Libertarians don't have that. You don't have a seat at the table. You are a
We have voting rights in 50 states. The Green Party has voting rights in
how
47.
many
You have
about
in the
people
GOP has voting rights in 50 states in the POTUS,
sensitivity in
right?
front of you because you're worried about your party and your loyalty. I'm talking about the system. You're playing outside the system. That's not how anything gets done. General Flynn says that. There's everybody else has said that has any concept of real politics. And to say that the liber and I'm sorry that this hurts your sensitivities because ultimately it's really you guys just standing for something and tribed up. You tribed up. You didn't like what the Republicans stood for, so you took your football and went home. I'm the kind of guy that says I hate my party and I'm going to go fix it and take it over. That's where I have a problem. That's exactly where I live. You guys go do your cool stuff. I don't want to go to war either. The crazy thing is libertarians believe you're the part that believes in 98% of what the Republican Party is supposed to be, but isn't representing. But instead, you guys went over here, start caucusing Mises and talking to a guy that wants to put crystals up his ass and get on the divide line whatever whoever Jacob Chancellor is talking about, instead of just getting in your Republican Party, being an executive committeeman, and bringing the Republican Party back to the freedoms that the libertarians stand for. I have a lot of love for libertarians and the idea of what they stand for. I just wish they would just drop the nomenclature and stand next to me as a Republican and say, look at me, I'm in the game. Instead, they want to go over there and yell at me. And that's just where it bothers me. And the thing is, just like Miss Olive said, if we were on the same page, under the same umbrella, by God, we could change the world. But everybody's got to have their own tribe. Everybody's got to be in charge of their own shit. And all I'm saying is the libertarians have zero official position in our electorate, in our government, and what it stands for. It is Democrat and Republican, whether you like it or not. And the libertarians will always work with the conservatives because they're basically Republicans that are angry. But I would like to see y'all come back and stand in there, and I would probably stand with you most of the time in the Republican Party. But when you stand on the sidelines, I'm just going to keep running with the ball down the field. That's it.
I gotta say this in Stellar's defense. I think you just said this too, Chad, that they wind up voting with Republicans. Like they make a lot of noise, right? But it's sort of Rand Paul is a great example of this. He makes this deal that I'm not one of you, I'm outside of that. His dad did the same. His dad was even more hardcore, right? I think most of the people in here like both of those guys, and we're glad they're around. And to the point earlier about someone was like, Trump's always saying, no, the Democrats stick together. That shows that they're evil, right? Like that's a bad instinct in the Democrats. It's a bad. Anybody watch the South Carolina talk this weekend where Lindsey Graham had to get up and do the hostage video? That is some sad shit to hear Trump like saying, Lindsey's a good guy. I know you're going to boo me or boo him, but come on, we got to stick together. And I like it that Stellar shows up and shakes the cage. And I think that's the difference. The splinter groups on the right side of our spectrum always come home, right? And they talk loud, but I think we need those voices to remind us to think a little bit because the sameness you see on the other side scares me bad.
Let me say this, and I'll give you some perspective of where I come from. Samuel, everything you just said was dead right. But you know what the Republican Party, when the libertarians show up and rattle the cage, they go, they're stupid, crazy libertarian people. But if those libertarian people were actual Republicans standing within that silver elephant that was had the other night, I'd be standing right next to him, rattling the shit out of that cage. I think my record is pretty well shown. And if we talk about Rand Paul, who I like, says Art Republican after his name, he understands that he has to be a Republican to play within the system. And whether or not he is closet libertarian or not, I don't care. Stellar, you obviously have a clue. And my point to the pussy comment is that you're not in the game. I'm just giving you facts. Even Rand Paul knows it, why he has to say, I'm a Republican, although he has libertarian leanings. That makes a lot of sense. So Rand Paul is part of the system. So when you stand there at the silver elephant, shaking the shit out of the tree, or what's going on with Lindsey Graham and anything else with Trump and holding their feet to the fire, now you're doing it next to me instead of over there. Because when they start, you rattle the cage enough to get any type of press, all the Democrats or Republicans say is that's the crazy libertarians. It'd be a lot nicer if you guys stood with us like you're supposed to, because technically you're conservatives, and make the party what you want it to be.
It would be a lot nicer if the GOP would show up for Second Amendment rallies and things like that, and I never quite see that
Stella,
happen.
fuck the GOP as it stands right now. That's the point Chad's making. Same conversation I've had with you. Fuck the GOP. We should take it over. And that is exactly the reason I will never call myself a libertarian. I did this during the Tea Party, and they're batshit crazy. It's insanity. Like, I'm sorry, but when Ron Paul is the only libertarian that's ever gained enough and real push in this industry, and he's still Republican. Why? The same reason Chad just mentioned. The whole concept of libertarian is that you believe in the Constitution and a limited government. So does the Republican platform. And the few things that outline past that if the libertarians would stand, as Chad said, with us. See, this is the problem. We act as if there's not multiple parties. There is. We are all under two umbrellas for a voting bloc, effectively, because of what Chad has laid out. But we are splintered inside of our own parties. Right now, the far left commies have taken over the Democratic Party. And right now, the true constitutional Tea Party movement is trying to completely overwhelm the establishment GOP. We are defunding them. We're not giving them money. We're not listening to them. But when the libertarians go and vote for a libertarian presidential candidate and say, well, I'm just not going to vote, I would rather you flat out not vote than vote for some crackpot libertarian who has never stood a single chance in the election. Like, you might as well not vote. It means nothing. It infuriates me more that you actually give some person a vote that has no chance of winning. There's zero. So it's, that's the problem, is you're basically saying, when you're a libertarian, that I want the Constitution back. I want limited government. Even I'll give you the anarcho-capitalist. Anarcho-capitalism is basically the original founding of our country, but they want to call themselves anarcho-capitalists now. We had this conversation when you were here. They want limited government, which is the way we were designed. They want small control over their cities and their counties, and they want the federal government and the state to leave them alone a lot more. Gee, sounds like what our founding fathers put together. But instead of us getting together and aligning on the majority of where we believe and focus on the one thing, which is getting our government under control from the local level and up, we fight with each other on whether or not you're going to tell me how to live my life on the 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 priorities. It's insanity. And so we fight each other and destroy. And the Democrats, they just force everybody to do what they tell them to do, because they don't have anything other than one message: we hate Republicans, orange man bad. That's the only message they carry. That's it. They focus on one message: we hate the right. They don't care who you are as long as you hate the right. Why can't we do that on the right? Do we like the left? Do we like progressives? No. Then that should be the unifying message. And everybody should get under that umbrella. And, libertarians get together with Republicans. And I don't mean like this GOP Colorado shit that I told you the GOP would backstab the Libertarian Party. Because the Libertarian Party is stupid enough to believe that the GOP, as it stands right now in your area, is actually going to be honest. They're not.
Stellar, can I?
It's just a waste of time.
Sorry. Stellar,
And fuck the plan.
Stellar, and you just said it. It would be nice if the GOP would stand with the Second Amendment, as if they didn't do what we wanted, so we're going to go over here and splinter. Now, I want to talk about that, because I was the fourth county and wrote the fourth county Second Amendment ordinance in the United States. Our county has a law in regards to the Second Amendment, which our state then adopted after they prostituted and hoarded out. I want to read you something, and I want you to tell me, is this because we have libertarians in South Carolina, and I've been really researching this, trying to bring them all under the same umbrella, because we've taken over so much of the Republican Party. I'm gonna read you something. I want you to tell me if it's libertarian or if it's it's Republican. It's not long. I do not choose to be a common man. It is my right to be uncommon. If I can seek opportunity, not security, I want to take the calculated risk to dream and to build, to fail and to succeed. I refuse to barter incentive for dole. I prefer the challenges of life to guaranteed security, the thrill of fulfillment, the state calm of utopia. I will not trade freedom for beneficence, nor my dignity for a handout. I will never cower before any master, save my God. It is my heritage to stand erect, proud, and unafraid, to think and to act for myself, enjoy the benefit of my creations, to face the whole world boldly and say, I am a free American. What do you think about that, Stellar?
It would be in my libertarian ideology.
That's
Not far
South
off.
Carolina Republican creed. You're in the wrong party.
I'm just going to real quick point out that this is one of those moments where the right side of our spectrum begins to argue along the lines of what the other side does is effective and we should do it and we hate them. which are three thoughts that you're going to have to juggle because you can't keep all three of those in your grasp at one time. You're going to have to let two of them or one of them at least be in the air because I'm telling you that that sort of sameness you see on the left side of the spectrum is dangerous. It's why they can push agendas real fast, right? And I wonder if we want to be under one umbrella, Aaron, or all of us have umbrellas and be out of the rain. And I'm asking even. Taylor, jump in.
Yeah, I mean, I think that with everything going on, there's definitely an evil agenda being pushed. I was gonna ask you guys your opinion on something. If you think that the CIA actually started Bitcoin, is that true or not?
Well, Jeff left, and he's our resident expert at translating Japanese characters into English, but I don't think we know anything about that. Although we do know AC, and there she is. How are you doing today? And what's your story?
Hey, I'm good. I think what people are forgetting that's super important is that a large contingency of the Republican Party aren't actually Republicans. They infiltrated a while back. I mean, the Bush doctrine says one thing, but the actions are another. And when you have the Bush administration working in tandem with the far left, which is the Obama, pushing for globalism. You can't really have republicanism and you can't have sovereignty of your country if you're wanting globalism. And so you have a large contingency of these Republicans that aren't actually Republicans, they're globalists. And so the best way is to filter them out and remind people what a Republican actually is and what a conservative actually is because they don't actually hold those qualities. I mean, they speak what they need to in order to garner the votes. But that's what allowed them to persuade your establishment Republicans to vote for Biden and not vote for Trump because he pushed back in Davos. He doesn't want to go the globalism route. He pushed for particular things that allowed our country not to be pilfered for money, whereas other countries were, being treated as third world countries while they were making bank at the same time. He was trying to level the playing field, and I think that isn't possible when people are pushing for globalism and equality of all countries in order to put them under the same umbrella. And I don't want to serve under a king. I mean, my ancestors did, my ancestors were, but that doesn't mean I want to go back because my ancestors came here for a purpose, and that was to govern ourselves and to be under a constitutional republic. So I think that's where we're missing the boat is that these guys who are running the Republican Party, they're not actually Republicans, they're globalists, and they don't belong in the party. They need to be kicked out of the party. And the reason why we have splintered is because the planks of the platform of the very party that we're speaking of aren't even followed to its core. So if we went and we got back, and I think people on the Democrat side are the same, feeling the same way because they've been taken over by the left. And so their classical liberalism isn't even being followed to its core because people infiltrated both sides. And now we're speaking as if we need to infiltrate a party that we're already part of. No, we need to oust the infiltrators because they are globalists at heart. And you're either for globalism or you're not. And we need to make a choice, and then we need to vote accordingly. But we can't pretend that if we're a globalist, we can't pretend we're not. We have to be honest brokers if we want people in America to gain trust again. People need to have that debate. Do you want to go global or do you want your own sovereignty? I choose sovereignty. I will always choose sovereignty, but I just wanted to add that.
And AC, you make a great point because that's exactly my point. The Republican Party is sucks. They're terrible people, but we're taking it over. And why would we have libertarians who are 98% with us on policy and the idea of sovereignty and freedoms and liberties? But you're over there yelling from the sidelines. What if Stellar was standing next to me? I just became two people that the establishment has to deal with instead of one. That's what makes zero sense to me. We have two parties, pick a side. Standing on the sideline with another team, you're never going to get the opportunity to have a seat at that table. But if somebody like Stellar and other libertarians were standing with me, Numbers win. We, the people, at the top of the Constitution, not them and their people. Unfortunately, because of apathy, them and their people are now in charge. But now we have a Libertarian Party that wants to tell us, oh no, we're over here and we're really about freedom. When I just read the fucking creed of South Carolina, and he said that would be something that would be libertarian. No, it's really what we're supposed to be. This is the creed, is the bedrock of what we're supposed to stand for. And this is something we can hold to the face of Lindsey Graham, Tim Scott, and the rest of these other pieces of shit that have gone globalist, take over our parties. Where do you think these people come from? And the reason we can't get rid of them is because people have said, nope, I'm an independent. Nope, I'm a libertarian. Nope, I'm over here. And they get to run roughshod through their official constitutional Republican parties. You want to fix the machines? Every state has a Republican Party primary. They are allowed to review any voting apparatus that is used in regards to their primary. Why? Because it's the Republican primary. So if, let's just spitball here for a second. What if we had a bunch of Republicans that ran the Republican parties in each state and said, you know what, we want to look at those machines. Nope, can't do it because of proprietary information. Well, guess what? Get rid of that contract. Fuck that, because we are the Republican Party and we voted for it. Done. Nothing can be stopped. Nobody can stop it. It's what it is. It's actually written in law. But nope, we got libertarians over there that want to yell at us and tell us how we're fucking this up. And I would rather stand with you. And that's my whole argument. And I'm being real by saying, get in the game or you don't have a say.
Stellar, real quick before we hear what's in your hand, I'll remind everybody the Punch Bowl is like coming to a close at the top of the hour. If you want to come up and like get in on this before it like closes out, do it. Throw in a mic request. Get up here. And I want to say this, if you want to fight globalists, because I'm with AC, it seems like there's a little difference in the parties. And I'll remind everybody, if you want to fight globalism, open your Amazon app and empty your cart and then cancel your account and go to the store today. Go to 8 stores today, but emptying your Amazon cart is the best first step towards fighting globalism. Stellar, what's up?
Real quick, libertarians aren't exactly some monolithic beast. We're not a hive mind. And if there's a candidate that is Republican that can get to 50, 60% of where we're at, we'll vote for it. Especially if it's like some of the big premises, we'll get there. And that's the funny thing, is like everyone keeps talking about it like the way like this monolithic thing, and it's not exactly like that. Just like the Republican Party is not exactly a monolithic ideology. And that's the one piece I would like look at when you say these things. And we do vote for y'all. And like and as Aaron said, and I know Aaron actually personally, like I mean, I get along with him. I think he's a great person I think he's a great Texan. I don't dislike him because he's a Republican or anything. I don't get mad at him. But, in his ideology, we're not that far from each other. So I would vote for Aaron if he was going into office.
Stellar, I'm not going for your vote. I'm going for your work. That's one thing. I know you're going to vote for us.
My work speaks for this country. I have given so much, and my friends have too. So I mean,
appreciate that.
I have,
and I don't doubt that one bit. Again, I don't dislike you. I'm not even saying you're a pussy. I'm saying the idea of sitting on the sidelines as a libertarian, when you have that ideology and you will vote with us most of the time, it makes zero sense in an official capacity of our electorate in our government to be over there saying, we vote with you guys. No, you vote with us, not us guys, because essentially you're a conservative constitutionalist. And if we had all of you back in the Republican Party would be what you want it to be, and it would be exactly what AC was talking about. We would push out all of the rhino, which globalist asshats, because we took over our official party. Ronna McDaniel and Drew McKissick are in charge right now. Both of them are globalists. They are in charge of the national party. Why? Because libertarians were over there and independents were over there, and nobody paid attention to the Republican Party in their equal counties, and they all let it happen. You let it happen. Everybody that's not involved allowed it to happen. There are so many patriots on Twitter. If they were all involved in their Republican parties, we would already fix this shit. It'd be over. There would be no lawsuits. There would be nothing. Trump would be in the White House. It would be done. But we all want to keep focusing on the leak or the drywall that's wet instead of the leak. Let's keep putting up drywall, hoping that leak won't leak through again instead of going and fix the leak. Fix the leak by taking over your Republican Party instead of splinter cells.
Go ahead, Taylor.
Yeah, I just don't know like if that's going to happen. Obviously, there's like a deep state at work here, or the election would have never been stolen in the first place. So, like, I don't know how we're supposed to find an enemy that we can't actually see, and they seem to be pulling the strings behind the scenes for everybody.
Taylor, if you're right, lock and load and let's get weird. That's all we have left. If what you're saying is right, fuck it. We can't do this, we can't do that. Everything's fucking screwed up. We have the machines, the Republican Party's wrong, the deep state, the deep state, the deep state. Lock and load. Shit's coming bad, and that's where we need to be. If you're right, go out, buy as much tuna and any other canned goods you can, toilet paper, the things you're gonna need. Because if that's where we are at, then why are we all sitting on our ass talking here in the punch bowl? Because what you're saying is that we have no elections and that the deep state, which I agree with you, but it's like I say, if you learn the game, play it better and kick their ass and take control, then how is the deep state going to work? But we'd all rather talk about it instead of go out and do it
Well, we should be
because
looking
it's
at
that.
who's in the WEF before we elect them. We
What
should
does the
be looking at.
WEF got to do
Taylor,
with it? Why don't we
Chad,
our
Taylor,
Republican
let
Party?
me clear these hands. Let me clear these hands before we close up. Because also, I want to say, remember, if you're going to stock up on tuna, don't do it on Amazon, right? If you're going to prepare for political apocalypse, don't let Amazon benefit. Go to your local canned tuna vendor. I'm sure there's a tuna farm, right? Organic near most of you. I don't even know. But like, maybe we should start a canned fish company because that sounds awesome. Let's do this real quick. AC, real quick, and then we need to hear from Up. Tony's back. Tap, do you want to go first?
Be sure to get all of your Punchbowl kit for the inevitable collapse of society at thepunchbowlspace.com. Check out our merch stores and support the Punchbowl.
AC, go, and we'll let Tony close it
Yeah,
out.
tuna farms sound good, don't smell good. So we'd have to figure that out immediately. I think the best way to find your deep state is to actually look at the planks of the platform and the individual that's asking for you to vote for them. And then you need to see if their actions match. And if not, you need to look at their staff and the people that go through their emails that give them their orders. And then we need to look at staffing and we need to look at the people who pass on from elected official, and serve and do the secretarial work and the work for those very people because that is your deep state.
Love that point. Always bother them about their staffing. Let's go Triforce and then down to Crazy Night.
Yeah, I'll say this, Chad. I appreciate you joining up and getting the conversation sparked up, and Stellar, appreciate you jumping back and forth between Chad and the conversation. What I will say um, that I do understand some of the points that Chad was making about the independent voter, and you saw a big switch to, I think it was close to 62, 65% that went for Biden, and then a good amount of those people on the other side now, no fault of their own, looked and was like, yeah, we fucked up. And it's a good point where you stand middle line and you sway to one side or the other. The other side's going, hey, why in the fuck you voting on this side? The other side's doing the same thing. So, and then what I will say is I hope everybody has a great week. I'm going offshore again in a couple days, so won't be with you guys. But again, thank you, Punchbowl. Love you guys, and Chad, appreciate you jumping in.
Tony, come to us live from the rig if it's ever possible. We'd love to hear the wind blowing.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Crazy Night, then to Taylor.
I just woke up. Um, Chad, my buddy, hoorah. Love what you're saying, dude. I
Hoorah.
don't know. Maybe we should all band together and maybe change the voting system. Maybe numbered ballots might be a fucking idea, or using blockchain might be an idea.
Take
I
over
don't
your
know.
party, you're allowed to do that.
Yeah. I, I just think if you all start banding together, the fucking alphabet soup's gonna get involved, just like they did with J6. So maybe it's best we get boots on the ground. I don't really give a fuck anymore. I just don't.
All right, everybody, there's the view from the West Coast. They're just waking up, and you can tell. Taylor, close it down.
Yeah, I was actually gonna say, is there anybody that's running that's trying to change the voting system? Because I think that's the only way that we're gonna turn this thing around. But
They can't.
yeah, I mean, just after the election, I've just been thinking, left wing, right wing, same bird, right? So they might have all an agenda and be like, giving a deception that they have opposition, but they're all actually working together. I don't know. I've just been thinking that after the whole election's been rigged, but I think that targeting the Dominion voting system, which made Venezuela socialist, would be the best idea to turn this thing around.
They can't. You're asking a bunch of people that got there by a voting machine that's corrupt to make a decision. The only way is in the official capacity of the party in a primary. I'm going to say it again. Stop looking to the elected to do the work of the people. Until we get off our ass, take over our parties, and use the caveats that are put in our state convention, they're not you really think the people that are getting elected by screwed up machines are going to change something? Even if we have one, they can't do anything. But you know what you can do? Take over your party, say I want to look at these machines, they say no, and we vote them out. It's that simple. All 50 states, that's exactly what it is. Stop looking at the leak or the wet drywall, start looking at the leak. And it all starts, all these people that are in their camps come from their parties. It's the Bush League to get you to Washington. You can't fix Washington if you don't fix Main Street.
I think we need like a nomenclature of steps on how to approach the idea that you're speaking of for the people out there that are too lazy to figure it out for them fucking selves.
Cool, you ready?
Chad.
Find your Republican Party in your county. Go grab 100 to 5,000 of your friends, 200, maybe three. Show up, sit in the back, listen, and it'll take you about 25 minutes before you realize if they're pieces of shit or not. Then bring more and more and more and more people. Ask lots of questions, make them uncomfortable, watch them run for the hills.
All right, Chad, tell us real quick what you got today, buddy.
I don't have a fucking clue. I might just keep running my mouth about this shit all day because I'm so sick of everybody putting all of this energy that we see out there behind stupid shit. I don't know. We'll see.
Everybody tune into Chad's show today to see him run his mouth about all this shit because you know it's going to be entertaining, right?
2 p.m. on Red Voice Media, on Rumble, and everywhere else here in Twitter, also 2 o'clock Eastern Time. And yes, I'm going to probably lose my shit.
And before our plug gets pulled mysteriously, I'll say to the whole town square, remember to retweet the space, like the space. If you want extra credit, quote tweet the space, put in a nice message because for the last 3 hours, we've had a conversation between people who don't agree always. In fact, like a lot of us disagree quite a bit, and you don't get the disagreeableness. You don't get the homogenous messages, right? Like an actual conversation occurs in this space. I'm grateful to be a part of it, right? Follow the Punchbowl account that should be somewhere next to me. Follow everybody on stage, like support the voices you hear and let them know that you support them because many of these conversations, like this is one of the few places where we still get to have these sorts of conversations. And if you're in other spaces, you know I'm not just like patronizing our host.
I can't beat that, Sam. I loved the topics today. I loved how we could debate it, opposing views, and at the end, everybody came as they left as we came. So I mean, I loved it. It was a good day today. Hope everybody has a great day, and we'll see you tomorrow morning.
It's Monday. Make it a short day. Thanks for everybody listening.